Hello everybody, my name is Renia and I am an ambassador for 1Million Meditators, and I am from Toronto, Canada, and today I'm going to be showing support for Anita in this amazing movement by talking a little bit about something really that I am passionate about, which is this experiment called the 30-day love-hate experiment. And then we're gonna do a meditation afterwards. Hi, Paulina. So I'm gonna start by telling you a little bit about how I got into this and how I met Anita and how I got involved in 1Million Meditators. So it started years ago when I read this book, The Hidden Messages in Water by Masaru Emoto. He is an amazing scientist from Japan who started doing these experiments where he would take little droplets of water. He would have them in petri dishes, and he would freeze them, and he would expose them to different types of music, and he wanted to see how the vibration of music would affect the water crystals as they froze. So he exposed some water crystals to classical music, and others he exposed to heavy metal and death metal music, and then he would use a really special camera to take a microscopic image of these crystals, and the results were amazing. Let me just show you. Okay, so for example, this is an image of the crystals when they were listening to Beethoven's Symphony No. 5. They look like beautiful snowflakes. And let me find, oh yeah, here is such a beautiful one. This is a picture of love and gratitude. So this is quite a famous photo that you've probably seen before. They really form these beautiful snowflakes, and then the water crystals that were exposed to the really, kind of dark, energetic music, or if they would say things like, I hate you, you fool, they wouldn't form at all. They would basically just look like this. They did not form into crystals. And so I've been really fascinated by this. And I read a few more of his books, and I noticed that there were a lot of people on YouTube who were doing experiments which were mimicking some of Masaru Emoto's experiments. So another experiment that he did was he took 3 beacons of rice, and he basically would spend 1 minute per day with each of these rice, giving the one that was labeled with love 30 or 1 minute of the emotion of love, and then the other one he would label hate, and he would give the emotion of hate, and then he had a third jar of rice that he would label ignore, and he just simply ignored it. So I noticed that so many people on the internet did this experiment. You can check it out on YouTube if you just Google the love-hate experiments. And I noticed that in most cases, it worked out just fine. But in some cases, it didn't work out. And I always wondered that. So I wanted to try it on my own. And here are the results. So what I did, I have my containers here of love and hate, okay? And I started my experiment back in August 23rd of 2019. So I filled up these three different containers of rice. Actually, give me 1 second because I have to get the ignore rice. I forgot it in my cupboard. I was ignoring it. Okay, here we go. So I filled up 3 separate jars of cooked organic rice. And on August the 23rd, I started. And so here they are. Now, I want to let you know that this experiment ended on September the 15th. And then I had to go out of town. So I just left everything in my cupboards, basically. And now here we are on, today is the 28th. And so this is 13 days later. So I want to show you what happened, okay? Because the results are still mind-blowing. So I'm going to show you the love jar, okay? Love. It's probably backwards. And you can see that it looks pretty good, right? There's no mold. Okay, I'm going to turn it around for you. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to show you the hate. This is the hate rice. So I spent 1 minute per day, and I was actually giving it the emotion of hate for the hate jar, and I was actually giving it the emotion of love for the love jar. This is what happened to the hate jar. Okay, look at that. Look at how brown it is. It's kind of like hard to show you. Yes, I'm gonna actually take off the camera so you can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. So look at this, everybody. Look at the hate rice. Look at how disgusting it is inside. Ew, it's all brown. Now I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna put the love jar, and look at how there's no mold. It was like night and day. Now it was even more drastic before, because as I said, I had to go away for a week and a half, so I wasn't giving it love and hate for that amount of time. So the ignore jar is right here, and it's somewhere in between, okay? It's somewhere in between. It's not quite as disgusting as the hate rice, but it is still brown. It's definitely different than the love rice. So I have been posting these on Instagram, and there were about 4 or 5 different days where I actually showed a video, and it was actually on day 6 that I saw the first difference, where I saw a little bit of mold in the hate jar, and the love jar is just still great. So it was such an interesting experiment. So that just goes to show you, everybody, that we really are creator beings, and that our thoughts and our intentions actually do affect other things. Now, one thing that I learned in this experiment is that you can't just sit down to these jars of rice at a certain time of day and say love, 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 hate, 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 hate. You really have to get yourself into the emotion. So whenever I went to these jars of rice, I waited until I was actually feeling the emotion of love, and I got myself into a good mood by maybe like dancing, just being silly, listening to music that I like, or doing some yoga. And then when I felt that love, I would just think about some really beautiful things that made me laugh. And I would then put on a timer, and I would give the love jar as much love as I could. And I would say things like, I love you so much. You are worth so much. You are full of, nutrients that are so valuable for the human body. And thank you. I absolutely love and admire you. So I went on like that, giving it gratitude, etc. So it was really hard to do the hate experiment because I had to put myself into the emotion of hate. And I made sure that there was a time gap between the two emotions, because I didn't want to like have the love vibration kind of like pour into the hate. So I would wait for a period of time, and I would find an emotion. I would find a memory from maybe my childhood or something that I've gone through. I mean, we've all gone through heartache in our life in some shape or form. So I would go there, and I really got angry, and I unleashed hate at the hate jar. I would look at it, and I would just say things like, oh, I hate you. Like I would really, really feel it. And, I just would say things, you are nothing, you are worthless, you are disgusting, things like that. And I hate you. And I really, really unleashed that emotion. Woo! So the way that I did it, I actually did the hate first. And then more towards the evening, I would get myself into love, because I didn't want to go to bed feeling the emotion of hate. And I had to also wonder, did this affect my body in some way? Hi, Zavi. So anyway, that was the experiment. So this really works, guys. I did it for 30 days, and I proved to myself that yes, my emotions, my intentions, it's a choice. It showed me that happiness is a choice, and that we have love inside of us. We just have to choose it. And then I got to thinking, why is it that I don't sit in front of a mirror every single day and give love to myself that way? So you know what, halfway through, after I spent time with a love jar, I ended up walking to a mirror in my house, and I started giving myself love. Because why not? I mean, if I'm seeing the living proof that, spending 1 minute per day for 30 days makes this much of a difference to rice, and if humans are mostly water, apparently, that's what the scientists say, well then, why not give myself love every single day, right? Like, do you agree, guys? So that's what I started doing. And I wish that somebody would have taught me this in grade school. I would have done this every single day. So that is my experiment with the love-hate rice experiment. And I really recommend that, that you gotta try it. You just gotta try it. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is a little bit about me. So again, my name is Renia, and I'm from the company Truth Belts. I formed my own company, Truth, back in the year 2001. It's been 18 years. It's a line of vegan fashion accessories, animal-friendly fashion accessories, primarily belts. And well, I wanted to make something that was not using anything from an animal. At that time, I had been a product designer for so many years, for 7 years. And in my experience, I had never used leather. So when I was laid off from my business, I thought I had ruined my life and that my life was over. I was standing in the unemployment line when I saw a sign for a course. They were offering a course to start your own business through unemployment. So that's what I did. And I started with belts because back then in the year 2001, belts were the hottest fashion accessories. And I thought, why don't I just start my company with belts, and then maybe it'll grow into clothing, which is what I really wanted to do. But for some reason, I stuck with belts and accessories. And because I didn't know how to use leather, you know, that really kind of made sense for me to use all these really technical materials that I knew. And this is really beneficial because, you know, I'm not sure if you know this, but the livestock industry, what they do is they cut down forests in order to make room for cattle herding and to raise cattle. And then so what happens is, like, they have cut down like 1/5 of the Amazon rainforest to make room for cattle. And then the hooves of the cattle really, you know, mush the dirt into the ground that it really can't grow anything for a long period of time. And so when the cattle, they end up moving to another place, well, that ground is really ruined for quite some time. Not only that, but cattle alone, just their farts alone put carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And, you know, just also the way that cattle are treated, not just cattle, but like pigs and other animal products. They are treated unkindly. They are treated with disrespect. And just like we saw with the love-hate experiment, if you're not being loving, well, the energy of that goes into, you know, the products that people eat. So these animals are pumped with chemicals. They are, in a lot of cases, and we know this now because of these amazing organizations who go in with videos to do investigations, we know that they are a lot of times not able to move. They're in cages and they're not having a fulfilling life. So the people who are ingesting these animals, is it so hard to believe why people have such anxiety and fear issues? Because we're ingesting these animals that are treated, and they are living in anxiety and not treated with love and respect. And they themselves have anxiety issues. Anyway, so that really changed a lot for me. I started learning about vegetarianism and then veganism, and I really changed my diet. And I just feel so much better. So the products, you know, really stand for that. And everything is made in Canada, and you can check out my website at truthbelts.com. One of my top selling belts is this flat, stretchy, elastic belt. You know, a lot of people really like it because it has a flat buckle, it's stretchy, adjustable, and so comfortable. But I have a lot of other things for men and women, and suspenders and yoga bands and all kinds of stuff. So, hi Grażyna. Okay, so I think that's all that I have to say. But again, if you want to read a good book, pick up this book, The Hidden Messages in Water by Masaru Emoto, because it is mind-blowing information. And this is, I think, you know, and I know Anita Morrow, founder of 1 Million Meditators, has also read this book, and she totally understands this experiment. So when I found out 2 years ago that Anita Mora was starting this movement, I jumped on board, and I have been an ambassador since the very beginning, and I'm so happy to be doing this, and I really, really believe it works. So without further ado, let's go into a love meditation. And I'm going to be playing one of the tracks from 1Million Meditators. I think I'm going to go with the nature track. And we're just going to, you know, think of our planet Earth, as you see here, giving her as much love. Okay, we know that this works, okay? Just remember the rice experiment. Let's just feel love and sending it to her from our heart. And in your mind, you can say things like, I appreciate you. Thank you. You are magnificent. All those things, okay? Okay, here I go. Nature track, here we go. Okay. Uh-oh, why is this not working? Sorry, guys. Okay, sorry about this, guys. Waiting for AirPlay devices. What is going on here? Oh, I know what it was. Sorry, I was connected to the wrong... I was connected to the wrong Wi-Fi. No. What? Okay, guys, we're gonna go to plan B, and I am just going to... Oh, shoot. Okay, here we go. I figured it out. Okay, 15 minutes of meditation.
Van mezelf en van onze planeet. Moje Berliner planeta. Szeretem magamat és a bolygót. Volim sebe i planetu.
intindihin ang planet. Me amo a mí y a mi planeta. I love myself and the planet. Ik hou van mezelf en de planeet. Me amo y amo al planeta. I love myself and the planet. Je m'aime et j'aime la Terre. Ich liebe mich und den Planeten. Ik hou van mezelf en van de planeet.
Wow, thank you everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi Julia. That was so beautiful. I was shifting positions a lot because I'm having some low back pain today. So in closing, for those of you who just signed on, I was showing everybody my love-hate 30-day rice experiment. So the one on this side is love and here is hate. And after 30 days of giving them love to the love jar and love to the hate jar, they completely went in different directions. So the love jar is completely okay, there's no mold. And in the hate jar, it is full of mold. Now, this experiment ended 13 days ago, and I did it for 30 days straight. So the rice isn't looking as good as it did back on September 15th, but I have a lot of images on my Instagram page at Truth Belts on Instagram and also Truth Belts on Facebook that you can check out. So in closing, I wanted to do a call out to an organization that I volunteer for, which is called Parvati.org. And well, their mandate is to keep the ice that is north of the Arctic Circle free from exploitation. Because there are a lot of businesses and organizations that are wanting to get in there and melt the ice and drill for oil. And this has to not happen. So we have created the MAPS Treaty, MAPS, and we've sent it to all government leaders, knowing that when 99 sign, the Arctic Circle, the part that is north of the Arctic Circle, The Arctic Ocean that is part of the north of the Arctic Circle will be deemed a peace sanctuary. So 2 government leaders have already signed it. Can you believe it? So this is super important. And if I do 20-minute free presentations on maps. So if anybody out there would like me to do a free 20-minute presentation, it's a beautiful presentation about the melting Arctic ice and about what MAPS is and what we can do to make a difference with that and getting our government leaders involved. So thank you so much for watching. Words do matter, intentions do matter. Happiness is a choice, and we can save our planet with our words, thoughts, and intentions. Bye, everybody.